Hi guys, it's Jess from Honest Fiction and welcome back to my channel. Today, the day I upload this video, February 16th, A Court of Silver and Flames will be out and I'm so excited. So in honor of that, I am doing a Sarah J. Maas tier rank. I'm going to tier rank Crescent City, Throne of Glass, A Court of Thorns and Roses, and the novella. So stick around to see my Sarah J. Maas book tier rank. All right, before we jump into the tier rank, I just want to say that I did not create this. I found this on Tiermaker. I will link the original creator down below in the description, and that's it. So let's jump into the tier rank. All right, guys, so before I jump in, I just want to say I'm sorry if this is going to be a little bit shadowy. It's super dark in this room, and I'm just having trouble with my lighting. Anyway, jumping into the tier list, the first is God tier, which is just like perfect. I loved everything about this book. Then is Elite. It is still absolutely amazing. Then Good. It was pretty good. Okay. Would definitely probably reread. Then Okay. It's fine. Eh. And then Meh. I just was not a fan of this book. I would not recommend it, and I did not enjoy reading it. So, going from there, I will say it has been quite a while since I read Throne of Glass, but I still remember the story and what happened in each book pretty well. So we'll see how this goes. I will also say there is going to be spoilers in this, especially one big one. So if you have not read Throne of Glass or A Court of Thorns and Roses, don't watch this video. This is really just me gushing about how much I love these books and I love these characters and so on and so forth. So getting into it. The first is Assassin's Blade, and I liked this. I like Sam and Aelin. I ship Rowan and Aelin so much. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool that like Dorian makes like a little sneak. He's in this for like a second, which I thought was neat. But it wasn't one of my favorites in this series by far. I thought it was nice. Just not absolutely amazing. I'm gonna put this with like good. It's good or okay. It might change, but for now we're gonna stick with good. Then we have Throne of Glass, which I almost did not read the series because I did not enjoy this book. I read this after A Court of Thorns and Roses. So this one came off a little bit more simplistic, a little bit more juvenile than A Court of Thorns and Roses. The story does develop, and obviously it's one of my favorite stories of all time as it progresses, but this first one, I hated Selena so much. She's so obnoxious. And part of the reason I like the series, I think, is because of her character growth. She always stays kind of obnoxious, but it just gets a little bit easier to handle. But this one, I did not like. It took me like 3 tries to get through this. So this is actually going to go with okay. It holds a special place in my heart just because it introduces us to those characters, but I didn't love it. It was fine. Next is Crown of Midnight. This I also kind of have mixed feelings about. I don't love Chaol. Also, I always pronounce his name wrong. I think it's Chaol. I saw somewhere you say chaos and then you add an L, which I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. It was fine. I didn't love it. It was just kind of a stand of the road. This was also one that I really struggled to get through, and I was like, is this series gonna live up to ACOTAR when I was reading it? So yeah, this is also gonna go with, I'm actually gonna put this with okay, just because I didn't love the whole Chaol and Selena love story. I think this is also when her friend dies. Is that this book? Yeah, I think it is, and that made me really sad and kind of broke my heart. So yeah, we're gonna skip that. Next is the book that got me hooked into the series because of Rowan. I love Rowan. It's great. I loved this book. Heir of Fire. I loved everything about this book. I think Selena grows a lot. We kind of get to see her trauma. We are introduced to Rowan, who is chef's kiss amazing. So I know a lot of people, there's people that are like, oh, he was like abusive to her and all this stuff. I didn't take that too seriously. I think they were both training together. I like this. I like them together. I ship them 100%. Moving on. I'm sure I'm going to get people in the comments that give me a hard time about that. But I do ship them. Queen of Shadows. I also enjoyed this. I think this is where we meet Lysandra and Adian. I think that's his name. Like I said, it's been a while since I read this. Manon? Do we meet Manon in this one? We might. It might be an Heir of Fire. We meet Manon in this one, I think, or Heir of Fire, and she is like one of my all-time favorite characters as well. So we meet a lot of good characters in this, and I did enjoy it a lot. Queen of Shadows. So, oh, I forgot to move Heir of Fire. Wow, that's embarrassing. I'm going to put that with Elite. So Queen of Shadows, we are going to put in, I think we're going to put it in good. Just because I really enjoyed all the characters we meet, but it was kind of slow. I think, is this when she kills the guy that kind of like helped raise her, who's also an assassin? I think that happened in this book, and I liked that plot line. So yeah, I did enjoy it. Next, we have Empire of Storms. I ship Lorcan and Elodie so much, and I love those two characters. Also, the ending of this was ridiculous. I remember finishing it and being like, I need the next book. So yeah, this is probably gonna go up there. Yeah, it might be. I think it's Elite, just because the ending saved it, and we're introduced to Lorcan and Elodie, and I love them. So now, from there, like I said, I was super excited to read the next book, and it ended up being Tower of Dawn, which I didn't like. I don't like K-Hole, so having an entire book that's devoted to him, especially after that cliffhanger ending that we got from the previous book, I didn't love it. I was disappointed. It wasn't bad by any means. Like, on its own, I think I was just so wanting to know what happened at the end of Empire of Storms that this just kind of left me wanting. So I'm going to put that with okay. Let's see. Next up, we have Kingdom of Ash, and I love this. I thought it ended so well. I thought it like really closed up all of those plot lines. I laughed, I cried. I loved it. It was so good. I think you couldn't ask for a better ending of the series. I think she did a phenomenal job. So this is gonna go up there in the God. It was great. I was really worried that I heard a lot of negative reviews going into this. I read the series a little bit later, and I loved it. I thought it was amazing. All right, moving on to A Court of Thorns and Roses. All right, let's see. First one is A Court of Thorns and Roses. So let's see if I have that over here somewhere. I loved this book. This is the first book I read by Sarah J. Maas, and it was great. It was a fun time. I remember being obsessed with Tamlin and Farah, and then that completely going out the window for the rest of the series, but it was great. And you're introduced to this world and Prithian, and this is probably my favorite series of all time. So I just love this first book. I think there are some problems with it, but overall, it was great. So I'm actually going to put that with Elite because there are other books in the series that I like more, but next up we have Court of Mist and Fury. I have both copies over here. Yay. I love this book. I love everything about this book. I love chapter 55. I love Rhysand. I love the Inner Circle. The Inner Circle is my top favorite group of people of all time. So literally everything. I love Loris. The slow burn romance between Farah and Rhysand. Just everything about this book. I love it. I just love it so much. So easily, this is going in God tier. No questions. It's just so good. And then we have A Court of Wings and Ruin. I enjoyed this one. I think that it was much slower paced than the other two. So I wish that there are a lot of lulls. I think that she had to do that in order to like close the story. And it does have my favorite scene, the High Lords scene where they're all getting together. That is my favorite scene in the entire series. So it has that. So just for those things, and I think it was a good closing. I mean, you couldn't ask for better. So I'm going to put that with Elite. Then we have a doozy of a book, A Court of Frost and Starlight. I'm going to be nice here. I did not enjoy this. It read like fan fiction to me. I just reread it. I wasn't going to, but I reread it in preparation for the next book coming out, and I didn't like it anymore the second time. I think that if you love these characters, and I do love these characters, it is nice. I think I saw someone say that if you read it as a like winter or Christmas special, you might enjoy it more, and I do think that helped a little bit, but I didn't need it. It's fun. So I'm gonna put it with meh. I think that will be my last reread of it. I think twice was enough, and I'm just not a fan of it, but I'm sure there are people out there that do love it, and I get it. So, last one is Crescent City, Sarah J. Maas. I always forget if it's House of Earth and Blood or if it's Crescent City, like what's the name of the series and what's like the name of the actual book. But I love this. I picked this up directly after ACOTAR when I couldn't get into Throne of Glass, when I was just rereading the first one over and over trying to get into it. And at first, because it's an urban fantasy, it took me a while, and the beginning, everyone says this, it is info dumpy. They are 100% correct. It is very info dumpy in the beginning. That is true. However, by the time I reached the end of this book, I was so in love with the characters so much. Bryce and Hunt, and I always want to say Adidas, and that's not his name, Adius, who's not even a huge player in this book, but I feel like in the next book he might be, and I'm really hoping he doesn't become the love interest, although I will be interested. It's just, she's been using that formula a lot, so I hope she kind of strays and like Hunt and Bryce are endgame, but we will see. Also, Bryce's, forget his name, Rune, I love Rune, he's great. So yeah, I loved everything about this book. I thought it was done so well. I like that it was new adult, or actually I think this is considered adult. I feel like I was expecting when she said she was releasing an adult book that it was going to be super smut heavy, and actually I thought this was really tame, and I liked this. I really like true crime and thrillers, and this kind of blended like true crime fantasy and all of that into one, and I just really enjoyed it. So yeah, that is going to also go with God. All right, guys, that is it for my tier rank. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any disagreements or agreements with my placements of any of the books, please let me know down in the comments. I would love to discuss it with you. If you don't know yet, I post new videos every Tuesday and Sunday, and if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys next week.